Here's a training on DocXtools Companion.
Depending on how your Word ribbon is configured, you may see these set of tools under your Home button or under your Litera tab. So for me, you can see them here. Mine are under the Litera tab. And the DocXtools Companion buttons consist of these here. There are 5. So you'll see numbers, cross-references, table of contents, PDF cleanup, and a cleanup button. And so what this is really meant to do is to help you correct numbering issues, automate things like cross-references, insert a table of contents, or potentially fix one that you may already have within your document, and clean up some common word issues like font types, size discrepancies, spacing between sentences or words. So again, some very high-level cleanup tools that you have here at your fingertips. And DocXtools Companion is just that. It's meant to repair very common issues within your document with the click of a button, or in this case, 5, if you choose to use them all. And this can be done for many different kinds of documents. So it's not just meant for agreements. This can be used across different practice groups and any document you might be working with that has, anything from numbering to cross-references, but just as simple as, making your quotes consistent throughout your document, or removing highlighting or any other cleanup features. So it can be used on lots of different kinds of documents. And also, this is meant to be used in those time-sensitive moments. So this isn't meant to be a replacement for DocXtools. It's not a replacement for heavy word processing teams. This is really meant when you're in a pinch, say working at 2 a.m. and you don't have access to, your secretaries or legal assistants. You can really, make a consistent, clean document and get it out just in time. It's also going to make your document consistent with itself. So one thing that DocXtools Companion is really good at is it's going to look at the majority of what you have already styled in your document, and it's going to go with that. So again, if you're used to using particular quotes throughout your document, but maybe you're collaborating on this document with somebody else and they use a different style quote, with the cleanup feature, which I'll show in more detail a little bit later, you're going to have the ability to make this document look like it came from one person or one place, very consistent, very clean. And again, I'll go over that in some more detail. So really, it's just meant so instead of spending hours trying to clean up your document on these, simple or what is seemingly simple tasks, it's going to take you minutes instead. And what we're hearing a lot lately, especially given our current circumstances and with people working from home, is that lawyers are really spending a lot of time now just nurturing their client relationships. They want to be sure that they're telling their clients that they're still there for them. How can they help them? And so the last thing you want to do is fix something super simple in your Word document that can be done with a click of a button. So that's really what DocXtools Companion is meant to be here for, to help you in those moments. So I'll go through each button at a high level, and I'll speak to the functionality of them and show you what they can do. And then I'll try to point out some best practices along the way, some things that I like to recommend. And one of those, we'll start right off the bat, is these buttons are meant to be utilized from left to right. So in the order that you see them here, it's meant to be used so that you check for your numbering issues within your document first before you move on to cross-references and table of contents and so on. And it's really designed that way because you can, let's say, use cross-references first. But when you do that, it's going to ask you if you want to fix numbering issues within your document first. So instead of taking that extra step, if you use these buttons from left to right, you're really going to find kind of that best practice or a better workflow throughout these buttons. Also, I mentioned at the beginning, but depending on how this is configured, you're going to see my numbers button and cross-references are both turned on with our newest feature, which is our guided navigation. So with that, previously, when you clicked numbers, it would run through your document with autonomy, same with cross-references, and fix all of those issues within your document. You can still have that function. It's just in setup, so your admin would be able to turn that on or off for you. But you'll see here when I click on my numbers feature, I will get a task pane on the right-hand side. So this is our guided experience. And so what we're trying to accomplish here is to give you more insight as to what you're finding within your document. So if there are issues or if there are not, and then for you to decide how you want to fix them. So again, if you're in a time crunch, that's totally fine. You have the option to check all down here in your task pane and fix with this button here, all issues. So you can continue to quickly run through your document, but say you want to look into it a little bit more and see what's going on, we give you that option now. So one thing I like to point out here as a best practice, if you are using this navigation pane, the task pane here, is to sort your risk first. So what that's going to do is it's going to move your risk, so your issues found items, to the top of the list. Because if this is 1,000 pages long, you're not going to want to look through everything that's great first and then find the errors within the task pane or within your document. So just again, just a best practice I like to point out, if you sort that first, you're going to look at all those high-level issues. And so if we look at this list one, you can see here, it'll just let you know that everything looks good. But in this instance here, what you can see is when I clicked on this list, it brought me to the point in the document where this numbering issue exists. And then it tells me why. So it tells me that there's repeated numbering, out of order, it's typed. So again, it's going to point it out to you. You can decide what you want to do. And with this, we can actually just check the box here and fix the item. So it's a nice little feature because now I can see, again, within my document that fixed the issue directly within the document. I didn't have to do anything manually. It was just the click of a button. If there are no styles related to number patterns, numbering will be created. But if your firm admin configured your numbering, then it's going to retain those styles. So again, just depending on firm preference, but that's something that I wanted to point out to you. So moving right along, we can then just click on our cross-references button here. And same, if you have your guided navigation turned off, you're just going to see a dialog box that appears, and it will let you know that it's running through your document and working on those, finding those cross-references and linking them for you. It's not going to do it unless there's 100% match. So it's not anything you have to worry about. It's going to match it to the wrong cross-reference. If it's not 100% of a match, it's not going to match it for you, and it will point that out to you. And again, I like to always sort my risk first. So you'll see that there are two different icons here. One is a red triangle with an exclamation point, lets you know that issues were found. And then these are just warnings or more informational items. So we know cross-references, it's very hit or miss whether you choose to use them or not. We know that some clients prefer that you use cross-references. So this option is available, if you do want to automate these throughout your document. If we look here at the issue that was found, it tells me section 2.01 doesn't exist in this document. It can't be located. Chances are this was a typo. You can come directly in here and fix this issue by deleting the 0, or you can come in here and assign a new target. So this drop down here will allow you to come in and assign it to where it needs to be within the document. So the other thing that we can do here, again, we can see these are all typed references. We can check them all and assign them. And the nice thing about this is the split screen view. So you don't have to jump back through your document and find out where these items exist. You're going to be able to see if you click here. Again, we can come in here and assign this appropriately to 2.1 and assign it here. So you can see without jumping around where the original 2.1 was referenced and then where it was fixed within your task pane. So again, just giving you some of a little bit of insight as to what's going on with your cross-references. If you don't have guided navigation turned on, it will give you a dialog box that will allow you to have Word automatically put in a comment for you so that you can refer back to it and know what changes you want to make within your document. So if this isn't here and available for you, it will still warn you. DocXtools Companion will let you know that there's an issue, and then you can refer back to it and fix the item within your document. Moving on to table of contents. So the nice thing about this is the dialog box I was speaking about. So without guided navigation, which will be coming for table of contents, that's the dialog box that you'll see up here. And then it gives you the option to pick your TOC levels. So in this instance, I'll pick 2, and it'll continue to run through your document, and it will automatically place it after a title page for you if one exists. Otherwise, you should see the option of putting it at your cursor. You can use, you can put your cursor where you have a placeholder in there. But the really nice thing about this is a huge time saver. So instead of having to do this manually, with the click of a button, you're able to insert a table of contents directly within your document. So a nice feature to have. The next button I have is our PDF cleanup, and I won't really run through that because I know it's not commonly used, but it's there and it's available for you. So it's going to remove artifacts from a PDF. to Word conversion. So that could be anything from, markups or imaging issues, and it might change the look of your document. So with this PDF cleanup, it will allow you to clean up those markups within your document, but to keep the content of your document the same. And then the cleanup feature. So this is what I had mentioned earlier. And this one is really to help with the consistency of your document. So if you're collaborating on this with other people throughout your firm, and there are different font preferences or size preferences when it comes to your font, or someone prefers to use curly quotes instead of straight quotes, here's where you can come to quickly change those. So you can click on, curly to straight, and it'll run through your entire document and make those changes for you. So again, it's going to make your document look more consistent throughout, and give, it a feel like it came from one place. It also gives you the option of making spacing between words consistent. So I had mentioned that it's going to pick up what's most common, within your document. So to make it consistent, if you're always using double spacing, it's going to default to double spacing. If you use a single space, it's going to default to using a single space. So you can choose to use all of these, or you can choose to use some, but it's really just going to make your document more consistent with what the majority is in your document. And then you also have the option of removing highlighting. So say someone, inserted highlighting within your document to call something out. Before you send it out, you can quickly get that removed with the click of a button. Same with drawings and empty paragraphs. So those are just some nice features within the cleanup button here. And that's really all DocXtools Companion is. It's meant to fix just these, few issues, because we know it's a huge time saver. So it's not going to go into, the more robust styling fixes that you may be looking for, like DocXtools can do, but it is going to come in here and it's going to clean these up much quicker than you would if you were trying to do it manually. Another thing I like to call out are track changes. So that's something that you can have on throughout your time working on this document, so that if you want to know what changes were made, using these buttons, you can refer back to that. So it's not like you lose anything with it, but you can just, again, gives you another view into what changes were automatically made, and then you can make a determination from there. All of this is native Word functionality, so it can be undone. So there's no need to worry about DocXtools Companion coming in and doing anything to your document that might corrupt it or anything like that. And lastly, I'll leave you with, our DocER and our support team. So these are two things that are available to you all if you are working on a document and you get stuck, or there's something that's not working, or there's a severe issue within your document, you can send it to our support team. So we have a DocER that's available to you all at no additional cost, where you can send in a corrupt document and have it fixed, and our team will give it back to you and let you know what they did to fix it. So it's not a styling, they're not going to come in and style your document for you, but if there's a serious issue and you're in a time crunch, that team is there for you.
Thank you for watching. And for more resources, visit our support site at support.litera.com.